Thank you for joining us. Today we have an update on the Bearspaw South Feeder Main, and we will be hearing from General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas. We will hear their remarks and then there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Please keep your questions limited to one question and one follow-up. I will now turn the podium over to General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson.
Good morning. I'm Michael Thompson, General Manager of Infrastructure Services with the City of Calgary. Today I will provide the region with an update on planned reinforcements for the Bearspaw South Feeder Main. As you know, the Bearspaw South Feeder Main remains an important pipe in our drinking water system, allowing us to move a significant amount of treated water to you on a daily basis. Unfortunately, this line has failed twice, once in June of 2024 and again on December 30th of 2025. After the most recent break, we continued inspections on the pipe and validated the findings with our third-party experts. These inspections highlighted that the pipe is in even worse condition than previously thought. As Mayor Farkas has stated on many occasions, the pipe is terminally ill and it needs to be replaced. We need to keep this pipe operational until the replacement pipe is completed. There is no viable way to move water through the drinking water system at this time. As I indicated last month, we will need to shut the existing pipe down this spring to do additional reinforcement work. We have come up with a plan and will be moving forward with these planned reinforcements, targeting up to 9 segments of pipe that show the highest level of deterioration. Construction on the planned reinforcements is scheduled to begin March 9th, 2026, and is expected to last approximately 4 weeks. Work will take place to reinforce 6 segments of pipe along 16th Avenue near Sarcee Trail. Teams are exploring 3 potential segments for reinforcement at Point McKay Park. These segments are located near where work currently is taking place for the Bearspaw South Feeder Main replacement. So further coordination with our contractors is required before we can finalize the plan for reinforcement at these locations. We are planning to repair the pipe segments using a concrete reinforcement technique. This approach involves exposing the pipe through excavation, constructing an exterior reinforcing cage around the existing pipe, pouring concrete around that existing pipe and the steel cage, and backfilling the excavation. As always, things may change once we dig up the pipe and learn exactly what we are dealing with. This reinforcement work will require us to take the feeder main out of service once again. This means region-wide outdoor water restrictions and indoor water conservation measures will be in place beginning March 9th for approximately 4 weeks. During this time, it's critical that all Calgarians and residents of the surrounding region use less water. We are again going to be asking everyone to save 25 to 30 liters of water per day indoors by taking the following 3 simple actions. Keeping your showers short, 3 minutes or less, flushing toilets only when necessary, and running the dishwasher and washing machines when full. Additionally, no outdoor water use will be permitted during this time. Our team is reaching out to neighboring communities, our partners, industry associations, and major water users to ask for their support in spreading the word and making plans to reduce their water use. As I shared previously, when the Bearspaw South Feeder Main is shut down for reinforcement work, we will be relying primarily on the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant to supply water to the entire city and the region. We are scheduling this reinforcement work for spring, when the river flows are higher, which helps refill the Glenmore Reservoir to replenish our water supply. I can now confirm reservoir storage has recovered well since the water main break in December, when the city had to draw much more water from the Glenmore Reservoir and it's now almost back to being full. We are also aware that the mountain snowpack is higher than average this winter, so we expect to have a healthy supply of water when the mountain snow melt begins this spring. These conditions make March an ideal time to advance this critical work. This spring feeder main shutdown will also allow us to complete additional work to support the drinking water system and the Bears Paw South feeder main. We will take this opportunity to replace an existing valve on the feeder main near the Shaganapie pump station, which will support system reliability in the event of a future failure. We will complete an inspection of the steel pipe connection to the Bears Paw water treatment plant to support ongoing condition assessments. And we will move forward with the replacement of valves at 33rd Avenue and 89th Street, which will help control how water moves between the feeder main and the distribution system. Though all this work supports the feeder main, we cannot guarantee that the pipe will not break unexpectedly again before or after the reinforcement work takes place. If another break occurs before the planned reinforcements, crews will move immediately to complete the reinforcements while the break is repaired. Preparations are underway to allow crews to mobilize as quickly as possible if this occurs. You will see equipment staged throughout the community now. Knowing this risk, Calgarians need to be ready for Stage 4 outdoor water restrictions and voluntary indoor conservation at any time. The risk will remain until the replacement project is complete and the new pipe is in service. While we are asking you to be prepared, we are continuing to monitor the pipe and are updating community protection measures. For example, last week, teams detected wire breaks on deteriorated segments of pipe near westbound 16th Avenue northwest exit ramp to Sarcee Trail. Teams acted quickly to create a detour as a precaution should there be a pipe break at this location. We have now detected a total of 4 wire breaks in this area over the last week. This activity caused us to adjust our mitigation strategy to support community safety. More adjustments like this will continue to take place while we remain at a high risk of failure on the existing feeder main. While we adjust mitigation strategies and make reinforcement plans, work continues on the replacement pipe for the Bears Paw South feeder main. Construction on the replacement project started on January 23rd. Over the last 4 weeks, crews have made remarkable progress. As you can see from the footage, we have significant activity happening at 3 sites in the communities of Parkdale, Montgomery, and Bowness. The vertical shafts, which will be used extensively throughout the summer, are being constructed now. Concrete pipe is arriving to site, and the new steel pipe has been ordered. As I previously shared, we're using a construction process called microtunneling for Stage A from the Shaganapie pump station to 73rd Street Northwest on the west side of the Bow River. In the coming weeks, crews will complete the vertical shaft construction and start the actual tunneling process. At the same time as the microtunneling work is progressing, we are preparing for open cut construction for Stage B from 73rd Street Northwest to 89th Street Northwest. Construction crews have started preparation work in the area and are finalizing construction plans now. We remain on track to break ground in May with this major work and are planning to have construction completed this fall. The entire replacement project remains on schedule to be completed in December of this year. We understand that this work has an impact on the community while we are doing construction. We continue to work directly with those who are directly impacted and are committed to sharing information as soon as it becomes available. Plans are evolving rapidly, and the resilience these communities demonstrate is an integral part of our drinking water system's recovery. This has been a long journey for the communities of Parkdale, Montgomery, and Bowness, and we couldn't do this without you. The communities impacted by construction and the rest of the city will be hearing more from us as we move forward. We're committed to keeping you updated and informed every step of the way. Please keep an eye out for media briefings. Go to our website at calgary.ca and subscribe to our social media channels, including Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, to receive updates from the City of Calgary. As I've mentioned before, we will also need to shut this pipe down in the fall of this year in a planned shutdown to connect the new pipe to the existing system. So Calgarians can expect another planned shutdown this fall, as I had said before in January. And as I close, I wanted to highlight that on December 30th, we were reminded that the existing pipe is terminally ill and it can break without warning. This year, we are all going to need to be prepared for this to happen at any time. This readiness includes both the communities that will be directly impacted by a break and the broader region, as a break this year will mean water restrictions for all of us. I want to ensure that you are as ready as you can be for this to happen, as until we have the replacement project completed and operational, our community remains at risk. And I want to assure you that we are moving as quickly as possible to complete the replacement pipe, and I appreciate your understanding as we do this critical work. Thank you. I would now like to welcome Mayor Farkas to the podium.
Thank you, GM Thompson. Thank you, everyone, for being with us this morning. Good morning. Today is about momentum, it's about urgency, and it's about what our entire region can achieve together. What we're announcing today affects Calgary, but it also affects Tsuut'ina Nation, Airdrie, Chestermere, and Strathmore, because we share a water system. And when we protect it together. Starting March 9th, and for approximately 4 weeks, the city will begin critical reinforcement work on the Bearspaw South feeder main. This work matters. It matters to every home, every business, and every neighborhood in Calgary. And it matters just as much to our regional neighbors who rely on Calgary for safe and reliable water. This work matters to Tsuut'ina Nation. This work matters to Airdrie. This work matters to Chestermere. This work matters to Strathmore. This is a shared system, and it is a shared challenge. We will complete up to 10 targeted repairs focused on the highest risk sections of the pipe while pushing forward at full speed on the permanent replacement. And I want to be clear, this is Southern Alberta's moonshot. We are in a race against time to build a stronger, more resilient water system. And we are moving faster than anything we've ever built before. To build Southern Alberta for the next century, to be ready for the 2 millionth Calgarian, and for everyone who lives here today. Just like the race to the moon, success depends on more than engineering. It depends on people across the entire region. To safely complete this work, the Bearspaw South feeder main must be taken out of service. That temporarily reduces how much water we can move through the system, but for the communities, not just for Calgary, but for the communities that rely on the shared infrastructure. And during this period, we can reliably supply up to 485 million liters of water per day. And that number matters. Staying under that limit keeps the entire region moving forward, and going over it puts the mission at risk for everyone. That's where all of us come in. Beginning March 9th, citywide outdoor water restrictions and indoor voluntary conservation measures will be in effect, and similar conservation efforts will be essential across the region. That means no outdoor water use and a shared commitment to reduce indoor water use. We are asking everyone to save 25 to 30 liters of water per day. And when more than 1 million people across multiple communities each do our small part, the collective impact is enormous. And that's how we move this mission forward. Every minute counts. Keep showers to 3 minutes or less. Every flush counts. Flush only when necessary. And every load counts. Run dishwashers and laundry only when full. And these simple actions are simple, but together they keep the system strong while this critical work is underway. Now is the moment for all of us to prepare and to participate across the entire region. So as mayor, I am asking every single Calgarian to talk with your family, to your neighbors, to your coworkers. Build the habits now, so when restrictions begin, we are already aligned community to community. Check for leaks. Silent leaks waste water every day, and fixing them is one of the easiest ways to contribute without necessarily dramatically changing daily routines. And to businesses across Calgary and the region, large and small, your leadership matters. Water conservation across workplaces and operations plays a meaningful role in keeping the system stable. And there's also good news. These restrictions are expected to remain in place until early April, and they will be lifted before the typical spring watering season. Looking ahead, our rain barrel rebate program will return on April 1st, helping households prepare for summer. And I also want to speak honestly about the road ahead. Until this pipe is fully twinned, it remains vulnerable. That means stage 4 outdoor water restrictions and voluntary indoor conservation could be required again if conditions change for Calgary and for the region. This pipe could break tomorrow. It could break next week. It could break over the coming year. We just don't know, so we have to be prepared. The difference today is our preparation. We're acting early. We're reinforcing before a failure. We're building the replacement at record speed. And earlier this year, when the system was under pressure, people across Calgary and the entire region reduced water use by 1% to 3%. That effort really mattered. It kept the system stable, and this time we are aiming higher and have complete confidence in our city and our regional neighbors. Because our region has shown again and again that when the challenge is big, our response is bigger. So let me close with this. Big achievements happen when everyone has a role and everyone steps up. This is our moonshot. This is our race against time. And to everyone across Calgary and the region, we all have a part to play. Together, we will protect our shared water system. We will complete this work safely and build something far stronger than what came before. So thank you for stepping up. Thank you for pulling together. And thank you for doing your part for Team Calgary. We're available to answer your questions.
Yeah, so the question's really about the condition of the pipe. And I think the best way to sum up the condition of the pipe is what the mayor said before. It's terminally ill. We know it needs to be replaced. The work we're doing right now, we're patching it. And we're basically putting Band-Aids on it. And what we need is that replacement pipe completed. That's why we're moving at record speed to build that. We have never had a project move as fast as we started. We started 4 weeks ago on the replacement pipe. If you go out there now, you will see massive construction underway at the launch shafts for that microtunneling project going forward. And we will be starting in May on stage B, like I said, with the construction of that project. So the question, what's the status of the pipe? It's terminally ill. It needs to be replaced. We're focused on replacing it. At the same time, we will try and keep it alive until that new pipe is complete, and that's what we're doing with these reinforcements this spring. Yeah, so the question, we've had wire snaps, we've got deteriorated segments of pipe around 16th Avenue and Sarcee Trail, and what is happening with that piece of pipe in that location. And so that's one of the most vulnerable sections of pipe that we have right now is in that location. That's why we will be going and doing those planned repairs at that location starting on March 9th. 6 of those pipe segments are there. We've closed the ramp just out of an abundance of caution. Should that pipe break, it's very close to the surface of the road. We would hate to have someone driving over it and it breaks again, similar to what we saw on December 30th. So out of an abundance of caution, we've closed that ramp, created a detour. We will have to shut down elements of 16th Avenue and Sarcee Trail as we do the planned repair work. We will be out with additional information in the future around what those detours look like. We wanted to get out to Calgarians as quickly as we could today with this information so that you can start to plan. You can start to plan for what happens on March 9th when those stage 4 water restrictions start again and that indoor water conservation. And so we'll be out to you in the coming days and weeks with more information around those specific impacts as we learn more.
Question for GM Thompson. Is there anything the city can or has done to boost capacity at the Glenmore treatment plant?
So questions are around the Glenmore treatment plant and what are we doing? And so we have done a lot of work around the Glenmore treatment plant, really to start to reduce single points of failure throughout that plant, to bring in additional crews and equipment to make sure that that plant is as capable as it can be as we go forward to get us through this period of time. We also have work that's underway on upgrades to the Glenmore water treatment plant to increase the capacity of the Glenmore water treatment plant. You've heard us talk about upgrades with the clear well, with additional filter beds that we're working on right now. Unfortunately, none of that work will be ready, that additional capacity work will be ready for this March 9th shutdown. That work will come in place really in 2027 for additional capacity. But around resiliency of the plant, we are working extremely hard right now to really focus on making that plant as resilient as we can, as we know that is a potential single point of failure with the Bears Paw water treatment plant not out of operation, but with the Bears Paw South feeder main out of operation.
And then you mentioned, so 4 wire snaps around the Sarcee Trail ramp. How many wire snaps have been detected across the entire pipe since it was brought back online?
Yeah, so question, how many wire snaps? Apologize, I don't have that number off the top of my head. We can get it back to you. It's not a lot when you think about each pipe segment. Each 4-meter pipe segment has about 300 wire wraps around it. And so there's over 1 million wires actually along this entire length of feeder main. And so as you talk about 1 or 2 wire snaps, it's not that concerning. It's when we see wire snaps on pieces of pipe that already have significant numbers on them or are in a deteriorated condition. And so that's really what concerns us, is we just have so many segments of pipe that are in a deteriorated condition for this length of pipe, and that's what we're focused on right now.
Are you able to say if there's been wire snaps in other locations away from that Sarcee Trail ramp?
So the wire snaps that we've reported, the 4, like I said, within the last week, that's what we've heard across the entire feeder main over the last week. We did hear a couple as we returned the pipe to service back mid-January. After that, it was quiet. And as I had mentioned on December 30th, prior to December 30th, we had heard no wire snaps for 2 months prior to that. And so it's not like we were hearing lots all across the pipe, but we just know the pipe is terminally ill. It needs to be replaced, and the work we're doing right now is to get us to December when we'll have that new pipe operational.
You said that you hoped that the water restrictions would be lifted in April for the start of the growing season and planting. What would it take for those to not be lifted? What would happen where you would have to keep the water restrictions going?
Yeah, so questions really around what could happen that would keep water restrictions throughout the spring and summer. And as I mentioned, there is no guarantee that the work we do will prevent the pipe from breaking somewhere else. If the pipe breaks somewhere else this spring or summer, we will have to go back in, repair that segment of pipe, and during that period of time, the city and the region would be in stage 4 water restrictions, and we would be asking for that indoor conservation. And that's why we're asking everyone right now to start to prepare this summer. Prepare like we will be in stage 4 water restrictions, and you'll need that indoor conservation. As the mayor said, think about going and getting rain barrels. Think about if you're a business and you had plans in 2024, I would be dusting those plans off and thinking about what do you need to do to be ready this summer in case that happens. We can't tell you there's a guarantee it will or will not happen, but we can tell you right now, we should all be taking the time to plan and prepare. That's why we're out today as soon as we can to give you this information so that we can all be planning and preparing together.
Thompson, you talked about March 9th restrictions for Calgary and region. But would the area where the construction is happening and the repairs are happening, would they have further restrictions, the businesses and the people living in those areas?
Yeah, so question is there additional restrictions for people located near the construction work? And so one of the positive things with doing a planned repair is the water main is not broken. We would not plan to be going into any sort of additional restrictions or boil water advisories for people in an area. This would be similar to the work that we did in September of 2024 when we shut the pipe down in a planned response. And so we wouldn't expect additional conservation measures or impacts to folks around those repair sites from a water perspective. What we really need is all Calgarians and everyone in the region, as the mayor had said, to support stage 4 restrictions in that indoor conservation, because equally everyone across the region consumes water, and we need everyone working together to solve this and working together with us to solve this.
PM Thompson, can you clarify the inspection method that was used to determine these weak spots? What
Yeah.
was the technology? I don't think there's a pipe dive.
Yeah, so the question was really how did we inspect the pipe in January when it was out of service with the last break? So we used the robotic crawler. You may remember from 2024, we had used the robotic crawler. And so it went in the pipe and we inspected the pipe using that. You'll also remember from our press briefings in January of this year, we actually had people go in and do physical inspections of the pipe, the condition of the inside of the pipe. And so they went into the pipe looking at the condition of the pipe on the inside. We've got more information about the pipe. It's terminally ill and it needs to be replaced.
And these new spots that show weakness, these are all original 1970s segments. Like none of these are the parts that were reinforced before.
Yeah, so question about the pipes that we're going to be going in and fixing. Are any of these segments that we've repaired previously? And the answer is no. This is all original pipe that was installed back in the 1970s, and none of these segments are pieces that we've done work on previously.
Can you just give us more understanding when you say wire snap, one wire snap, what is that?
Yeah, so each 4-meter segment of pipe has about 300 or just over 300 wires wrapping around it. And so it's a wire that continuously wraps around that piece of pipe. And that's holding the pipe together. When one wire out of 300 breaks, it's not a big concern. When you get multiple wires breaking, or if they've broken in a very small segment of length, that's where you have weakened that pipe, and that pressure from the water could cause it to rupture and fail. And so that's what our concerns are, where we see lots of wire breaks or where we have anomalies. The inspection tools that we use, it's not a perfect science. We're measuring a wire wrap inside a composite concrete piece of pipe. So it's not a perfect science. And so as we look at the data, as the experts look at the data, they identify the segments that we're most concerned about. So these are the top 9. There's other segments along this piece of pipe that we're concerned about, but we're really trying to balance the impact to Calgarians, the impact to the Glenmore water treatment plant. Every time we have the Bearspaw South feeder main out of service, we push that water treatment plant harder, and there's a risk that that plant could fail, and then it would impact everyone in a much more drastic way. And so we really try and balance a lot of risks as we're making these decisions.
When these stores if they're open cut, they might have more restrictions for people living around. How's that going to work?
Yeah, so questions really, the pipe replacement projects, will that impact will that impact water restrictions? And so the impact to water restrictions would be when we shut the pipe down this fall to connect the new pipe to the existing system. We're going to have to shut the system down to make that connection. We don't have details on when that will be. We'll have that once we've got more design work done, and we'll share that. The construction of the new pipe should not impact residents from a water restrictions perspective. Obviously, there will be impacts on Stage B as we're constructing the pipe up 34th Avenue. We're working with the local residents, and we really appreciate their support. We know how impactful that work will be to local residents, and we're committed to working with them and to trying to reduce the impact of what will be a very impactful project as much as we can.
Unrelated question to Mayor Farkas about Catherine's recent speech and her comments about referendums. What do you think of some of those referendum questions?
I have a view on that, and that'll be for a different day.
One more pretty unrelated. There is currently, I believe, a small rally happening outside from a renters' rights advocacy group. I'm calling on the city to consider implementing a landlord licensing system. What do you think about that idea? I don't know if it's been implemented in other cities, but they claim that it would give low-income tenants a lot more protections from unsafe conditions.
Our office has been in touch with the organizers and always interested in engaging with various advocacy and community groups for ways that we can provide more stability and certainty for housing here locally in Calgary. I haven't looked into the fine details of what they're specifically requesting of council to do and whether that may or not be within our authority under the Municipal Government Act, but very much looking forward to continue conversations with them.
One more from there.
Yep.
So this is going to be the new normal, or are we still in the new normal that you talked about?
Well, we are living in a new reality after December 30th. We understand that this pipe could break again at any time. It could break tomorrow, it could break next week, it could break next month. We cannot do anything to guarantee that this pipe will be back permanently into service. So that's why we're moving faster than anything we've ever done before to build a replacement pipe. This is typically a project that would be completed in 4 years. We've set an ambitious goal, a mission as a community and as the City of Calgary to deliver this pipe in 1 calendar year. And for us to do that, we're asking for Calgarians and our entire region to support our frontline workers, our first responders, all of our crews deploying that fix. That means in the short term, we need to come together to do our part to conserve water, to ensure that we have the water on hand to be able to service fire hydrants, to be able to ensure that we can respond in life-saving emergencies. So make no mistake, this pipe could break at any time. We want to be crystal clear with Calgarians about that. We want to be as transparent as possible, and that's what today is about, is giving our local community and region as much of a head notice as possible for us to have that running start into these restrictions, to be able to make modest changes to our daily routines and business operations in order to be able to manage this challenging time. We've done more difficult things than this in the past. This is an incredibly unprecedented situation where nearly 2 million people in our region are reliant on this specific system to operate. So we're going to get through this. We've done harder things before, but we just need to work a little bit harder to be able to buy the needed time to be able to defuse this ticking time bomb.
So beyond providing information, what are you telling the people, citizens that are starting to get vaccinated?
Well, I want to say just firstly a giant thank you to Calgarians as well as our neighbors in the region who've stepped up in a big way to be able to support us, especially during the holiday months. It was extremely frustrating on December 30th for myself, everybody who lives in Calgary and relies on our water system. But we stepped up in a big way. We saw reductions of about 3%. We've seen significant growth though since in population since the break happened in 2024, which means that we have a much smaller margin of error, a much tighter tightrope to walk this time around. So we're asking Calgarians and our neighbors in the region to do just a little bit more. Very much grateful for the efforts that they made over December 30th to be able to buy the needed time for the course of 3 weeks. We're almost in the clear. We need to get just a little bit further. But the good news here is that we're able to deploy these proactive restrictions prior to the watering season, getting this out of the way early in the spring gives us a little bit more confidence that we can go strongly through the summer months. But make no mistake, even with these proactive preventative repairs, it's still possible for the pipe to break at any time between now and the end of the year. So we're working faster than anything we've ever done before to build that replacement pipe. But it's so important for us to work together now to be able to buy that needed time for our front line to deliver the fix.